Hello and welcome back to Series 3 of Doctor Who's review. I'm here with James.
Alright there.
And we're just going to talk about each episode of this series, as you probably know from the last two. So, we're going to start with the Christmas special, The Runaway Bride. What did you think of it?
You know, it's sort of like the Doctor's rebounding from Rose, and he's really gutted he's lost Rose, isn't he? You know,
Yeah.
He's just really, really gutted. To be fair, you see this throughout the episode. He's like, oh, you know, I lost my last companion. Donna, to be honest, I wasn't really a fan of her in this episode. She just really, really, really got on my nerves. I thought the Christmas robots were okay at first. I was a bit Oh, no. I mean, in Season 2 I thought that was okay. But when they came back in Season 3, I was like, at the start of Season 3, I was like, what the bloody hell is this? Why are they back? I know they're robots for hire, but I just felt... I don't know, I felt like, can't they come up with something else? Can't they come up with a new villain for a Christmas special, you know? But yeah, Donna just got on my nerves. She just seemed a bit, I don't know... just moaning and whining and being like, Doctor, what are you doing? All the time, and it's like, she just got on my nerves, to be honest. The wedding stuff was okay, I suppose, at the start. Then she gets teleported, and you think, what's going on? Because you do see her at the end of Season 2, and she's like, what am I doing here? So, you know, the villain was absolutely awful. The villain was a lunatic. Like, the villain was just... Yeah, over the top, overacting, absolutely mental. I did not...
Yeah, but that wasn't special effects at all, you know.
What, even...
The body was all real.
How did they pull that off?
Well, with string, I'm guessing.
Well, you know what? Fair play that it was all practical, but it doesn't change the fact that the villain sucked. To be honest, it could have been a regular sort, like it could have been a spider as tall as David Tennant, you know, and the villain be good. And if the villain was actually good, I'd be like, yeah, fair play. But just, I do respect the practicality, but at the end of the day, even if it looks amazing, they've put a lot of effort into it, it doesn't mean that I have to like the villain. I just thought she was crap. What was her goal anyway? To put her babies all over Earth or something, her baby spiders?
I can't remember myself. I think it was something like that.
But yeah, it was just overacting, shouting too much.
Or to destroy Earth's core or something.
And then didn't she bring up about the Time Lords, and the Doctor went haywire and just started spraying the hose pipe everywhere and killing her and everything.
Yeah.
So I suppose it shows you can tick the Doctor off if you bring up his past. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when you killed your whole planet, I think it is going to leave like a darkness on you.
100%, man. But to be honest, I just thought the episode was a bit naff, to be honest. A lot of people seem to think it's pretty decent and a lot of fun. Doesn't really appeal to me that much, to be honest. It was alright, but, you know, villain was weak. Just as a heads up, I did, from what I've watched the Season 4 so far, I do think Donna's really great, to be honest. But in this episode, I just didn't like her that much. I thought she was a bit naff. So, and the villain was crap. You know, the Doctor was cool in it, Tennant was cool in it, as he always is. Her husband was a bit naff, you know. He acted well when he was the villain and all that. Like, he was like, oh, twist, haha, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was a bit naff, but that's just me. Some people like it, so I'd say a bit below average.
What did you think of having the ceremony after?
The wedding ceremony?
Yeah.
I can't really remember that bit, to be fair. I sort of can't...
Well, they're having a wedding and she got taken to the TARDIS. And when she came back, they were all dancing back there at the wedding ceremony without her.
I can't really blame them, to be fair. Well, I sort of can. They should just call it off. But, like, it would have been a bit crap if she went back and no one was there and then she had to go home and find everyone.
Yeah, it probably would have, wouldn't it?
And, you know, I'm not trying to, like, make any excuses, but Donna's mom lives with her dad. You know, they live with the granddad. Or did he move in with them? But the point is, they might not have a lot of cash if they're all living together. So,
I have no idea.
You might as well make the most of the food and everything. But I guess they shouldn't be dancing. They should be a bit worried. For all they know, Donna could have been evaporated. So she could be dead. So... And her mom was a bit mean at first. I just felt like she was like, "Where have you been? I can't believe you teleported out of nowhere." And it's like, aren't you happy that she's actually alive and not evaporated, you bloody lunatic? Ridiculous.
Yeah, she is a bit of a moany person.
Yeah, her granddad's a legend, though.
Yeah, I do like Will.
Anyway, do you want to move on to the next one?
Yes, Stephen Jones.
So this one, I like Martha's character introduction. It's a lot of fun, to be honest. She's trying to become a doctor herself, so that's really cool. The villain was a bit weak in this one, but everything else was a lot of fun, to be honest. I love the Rhino police, the ones that go Mototo or whatever they're.
Yeah,
the Jadoon, yeah, that's it. They were quite banterous and funny. I liked how they got sucked onto the moon and you think, why have they been teleported? And, well, there's not a lot I can say, really. Martha's character introduction was quite cool. It's cool how she wants to be a doctor and she's going to go with the Doctor on a load of adventures, you know, and have a lot of fun with him. So, yeah, pretty good episode overall. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I saw something a bit ago, and you know when David is putting all that radiation into his shoe.
I can't remember that bit.
Well, when he's getting hit by radiation, killing the biker guy.
Oh, yeah. When they're in the medical room, yeah.
And he puts it all into his shoe.
Yeah.
Well, when there's a spin-off, there's a little spin-off, piece of writing that somebody did. And it was like, the Doctor puts this shoe into a bin, and when the hospital was back on Earth, the people in the hospital go and take the shoe and throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the homeless man finds it.
Okay.
And the radiation in the shoe kills him.
Oh, that's quite tragic.
So then another homeless man comes and it kills him.
Okay.
And another one comes and he survives.
How?
I don't know, but then he dies 2 days later.
But what even is this? Is this just something some people have made on YouTube? Like edited together?
It's what people have made up as Doctor Who canon, that the Doctor should killed a bunch of homeless people.
Fair enough.
So people count that as canon. So the Doctor a radiation should kill people, or killed 3 homeless people.
Mm-hmm. Fair dues. What's the next one then? Shakespeare Code.
Shakespeare Code. No, I never liked this one. I thought it was quite boring.
Yeah. I mean, probably the weakest out of these 3, to be fair, because with the Runaway Bride, as much as I did say it was below average, there was some alright things in there. There was, the Doctor being upset about Rose, and there was some good action in there, and the Doctor showing his dark side. But in this, there's basically nothing good in there. Like, they did something cool with Charles Dickens in season 1 with Eccleston and the person playing Dickens having banter. But with this, there wasn't really any Shakespeare banter. He just sort of roamed about and he's like, "Oh, I'm a talented writer. I write stuff. Look at me." And then and then these witches just want to bring all the witches into this universe, and they're quite obnoxious, really, and weird. The way they kill people was kind of. I like how it's like a supernatural trope. The wishes can control magic, and then you think, oh, it's supernatural. They're just killing them with magic and magic and stuff into their body, but no, it's atoms, and they teleport atoms and particles into their body, which makes them die. So that's quite cool.
Yeah.
What?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the point... I know it isn't exactly like that, but the point is there's a sci-fi thing to like a supernatural trope is what I like. I like how, for most of the episodes, there's an explanation for everything. So that was something okay about it. It was a bit weird how they were just defeated by a code, but I suppose that's the whole thing. They read out a code and then they spawn, then something goes in someone's body and they die, or they read out a code and someone dies. I like the bit when she stopped the doctor's heart from beating then, but his other heart was fine. That was quite cool.
Yeah. What did you think of the Cretan?
Are they the witches?
Yeah, those are the three witches.
Yeah, they're just a bit stupid and weird, to be honest. They're just a bit useless.
Yeah, well, they all have names.
I don't even remember.
Looking one is called Lily. There's Mother Blood tie-in. And Mother Bloodfinger, I think.
Yeah, they're just all a bit daft and lame, really. It's quite funny they get stuck in a ball in the end and they're like, eh.
Yeah, the crystal ball. I've actually got that part of a figure, that little crystal ball.
Oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, probably the worst one so far, to be honest. It's quite crap.
Yeah, it was a bit...
Just boring, forgettable. Shakespeare wasn't any fun. He didn't really contribute to the story. He was just there. So yeah. At least Charles Dickens actually said interesting stuff in season 1. At least he was like, oh, I now believe in ghosts and all that stuff. And, you know, at the end, you kind of feel bad because I remember Eccleston's like, yeah, this is the night when he dies, or tomorrow's the day he dies. So at least we gave him a good laugh before he died. So...
What did you think of Elizabeth the First showing up?
At the end, that was actually quite cool when she's like, get him. That was quite cool. And he's like, we've got her own.
Because you'll figure that out in about 4 series.
On the day of the Doctor, yeah.
Yeah, I won't tell you what happens, but like, it's
no, you already,
funny.
Yeah, I think you already like hinted it before what happens, so it's quite but it'll just be funny to see what happens. But yeah, so do you want to move on to the next one then?
Yeah, that's fine.
What is it? Gridlock?
I think so. Let me just double check. Just do all the views. I do keep them all by me so I can know what they are, but I've just lost them.
I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't got any lists in front of me. Hold on, here we go. Yeah.
This is Gridlock.
So yeah. Gridlock. It's quite cool at the start because they go back to where the what is it? New York or whatever it is, or New
New York. And the year was 5,053,000,000.
Yeah. Like 5 billion.
Yeah.
Billion.
It's 5 and 6 zeros. So I think I can't think of which one it is.
I'm pretty sure it's 5 million. Hold on. It'll be 60.
It's 5 million.
Yeah, 5 million. Yeah.
But 24 years earlier, a virus killed nearly everyone.
Yeah. So
just like right now.
Sadly, yes. So this episode, what happens is Martha gets kidnapped by these people. They need 3 people to get to the bottom zone or something of this motorway. They're basically all stuck in mobile homes. It's quite weird, to be honest. A lot of people are just stuck with each other forever. I mean, I feel bad for them. I know they might get used to it, but imagine just being bloody stuck in a little, like, mobile home type... What are they called? Hippie type vans. Hippie vans.
The camper vans, yeah.
Yeah. In little camper vans with like 1, 2, 3 or 4 people. That has got to be some of the most awful load of rubbish ever. You just get on each other's nerves all the time, and it'd just be horrible, really. But I suppose they all talk to each other over a walkie-talkie, so that's quite funny.
And that your feces anyway wasn't made into food as well.
Is it made well into food, or does it taste like poo and wee?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Do they not?
I just know that it's remade.
So they don't make it clear then?
No, it just looks like a biscuit kind of thing.
Oh, that's a bit rank. But yeah, this episode's fun, to be honest. More Martha banter. It's cool how the cats are there. I love the Face of Bo stuff. That's amazing. The Face of Bo dies again, which is quite weird. Didn't he die in the last Human part, second one? The New Earth. I swear he died there as well, didn't he?
I don't think he died there.
Are you sure?
In series 2?
Yeah, doesn't he die in series 2 and 3? Like,
hang on. I'll have a look.
but yeah, the Face of Bo sacrifices himself and saves everyone, which is really nice of him. They go to the bottom and there's like 1 million crabs that kill people, which is a bit tragic.
Well, I do want to talk about the crabs. Well, they are the macra.
Yeah.
But there were a good villain back in the classic Who, but then they did it quite bad with this, as they said that the pollution had made them dumb, basically. And I thought that was bad because they were a good villain back in the classic and quite intelligent as well.
Mhm.
So it was a bit of a disservice to classic Who, unfortunately.
Bit of a shame.
So do you want to move on to the next one?
Sure. Oh yeah, overall, pretty good episode. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. So the Dalek 2-parter now.
Yeah. Oof. So.
What did you think of the Cult of Scargo coming back?
I liked it at first, to be fair. I was really hyped up. I mean, isn't there like a load of hints that it's the Daleks behind everything, even though you get that corrupt New York boss who's like having a go at about everything?
Yeah, well, the lift looked like the Eye of a Dalek.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
If you noticed.
Yeah, I just remember thinking to myself, yeah, it's the Daleks behind this, yeah. Because obviously I tried to avoid watching the next time on Doctor Who. Oh wait, no, it's in the bloody title, Daleks in Manhattan. I can't believe it. I'm a buffoon, man. I'm an absolute idiot.
Daleks emanated an evolution of the Daleks.
Yeah, so, I mean, what was even their plan? To bring all the Daleks back or something? Originally, like by getting... oh, no.
In Doomsday, they had the Ark, which was the thing they carried around with them, and which let out all the Daleks. Cause it was basically a Dalek prison from the Time War.
Because they was in the Void, wasn't they, after, though?
Yeah, so they escaped with their the Cult of Sky didn't go into the Void. They used a temporal shift, which got them to New York when you see him now.
Oh, so they'd been in the past for ages then?
Yes, because that temporal shift, they had no idea where they were going and they got stuck there. That's why they had the idea of using human Daleks.
Yeah.
That's what made Dalek Set.
Mhm.
So what did you think of Dalek Set?
Him merging with the humans, pretty crazy, really. So they're merged at the end of the episode. I just want to say, a lot of the characters were a bit... I didn't mind Tallulah and Laszlo. I know a lot of people hate on them, but I thought they were okay.
I quite like them. The pigs, though.
Yeah, most of the pigs, it was just ridiculous. I thought it was some of the most stupid stuff. I couldn't, like, I could tolerate the Slovene. I thought that was an alright two-parter. World War Three, and what was the other one? Aliens in London, or is it the other way around?
Aliens of London and World War Three.
Yeah. But I thought that was all. I thought they were alright villains. I know the farting stuff was a bit daft, but I didn't mind. But these pigs running round like madmen and oinking and trying to get more people to become pigs. It was just, and trying to get humans for the Daleks. I just felt it was a bit daft. Like, why don't the Daleks try and do this themselves? They've got the manpower. Lazy. I just felt that was very stupid. I felt like they'd overused them a bit because they were used. They had 3 parts. Obviously, there was a Dalek in Dalek, then there was a 2-parter at the end, and there was in the Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. So they've been used 5 times in the first 2 series, and I just feel like bringing them back this quick. They probably shouldn't have been in the whole of Series 3, in my opinion.
Well, how they did it was a completely different Dalek in Dalek. Doomsday, you had the start of the Quarter Scarrow, which were the 4 that came out of the Void ship. No,
but my point is the Daleks were used too much. I'm not saying they were the same Daleks. I'm just saying I feel like they were used too much. Yeah, they were. They should have left Series 3. You are right. Because you've told me before that the 2-parter with the Daleks in Series 4, aren't they like your favourite episodes of all time?
Yeah, one of them. But saying that, this episode does come into part of it, though. In Series 4, because Dalek set gets killed by Dalek Fane, Dalek Just on the stage.
Yeah.
And then the human Daleks kill Jane. Kill them too. So only Dalek Khan survives.
So he escapes, does he?
Well, he uses the temporal shift, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the second episode. So you've got that Dalek, and you'll see him again.
Yeah. But overall, both of them just quite boring, really. They're not awful episodes, apart from the pig stuff. And what was his name? Frank. He was a bit boring. He was okay. He was just a bit typical and generic.
Is that the guy who turned it into Dalek Set?
No, that was the corrupt boss, the building boss. Frank was someone else. Frank was like a young person, and there was the cop who got shot. He was okay, I suppose. He wasn't too bad. He got shot by the Daleks.
Yeah.
I like how he's like, no, don't kill the doctor. I sort of like that. I like how the Daleks... I like how the human Daleks sort of saw things from a different angle. And
did you notice Spider-Man was in this episode?
Where and when?
Do you know the guy who plays Spider-Man in the 2 Amazing Spider-Man films?
Oh, Andrew Garfield. He was Frank, was he?
He was the young guy from
That's Frank, yeah.
Poor bit.
I didn't realise. Yeah. I didn't realise, man. And now that you tell me, I can picture him.
Yeah, that was one of his first roles.
Fair play. I mean, even though he was a bit boring, you've got to think if you're an actor and you get into a show and you do okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like him as Spider-Man personally, but I'm just saying that it's different being a fan and being an actual actor. You got to get work and money, and if you're in films, some actors only have like one good film. But anyway, back to the main points. That Dalek 2-part was pretty boring, not horrible or ridiculous, but just pretty boring.
Yeah. So the next one we have is
the Lazarus Experiment.
Yep. Yeah, Lazarus Experiment.
So I'll just say off the bat, a lot of people really dislike this, but I think it's slap bang average. Mainly because I really, really, really loved. I love the intensity with Martha, her sister, and the Lazarus creature coming after him, and the doctor on the piano. That was quite cool. I loved how Martha's family, the agents, were like, this doctor man's bad, and you think, why they're saying this? Who found out about the doctor? It's keeping you on the edge of your seat. The Lazarus stuff was kind of stupid and weird. It was a bit bizarre how a massive alien came out of him. He was a bit boring and plain, I suppose. There were some decent scenes with him in the church, I guess. But overall, slap bang average, really.
Yeah, well, there's not really not a lot to say about this episode, is there?
Yeah, I just love the mystery, you know. I loved how they're all like, oh, this doctor man's bad, you know, and you're like, as I say, you're questioning it. You're thinking, oh, people finally found out about him. Because before, obviously, you had, in the very first episode, you had like a conspiracy theorist being like, oh, I've met this doctor man, and then those mannequins shot him. But obviously no one took him seriously, like a few people did, but barely anyone. But the government are in on this now, and it's like, bloody hell, they know about the doctor time travelling. So I was really intrigued with that stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say as well, have you noticed through this series, the Mr. Saxon and things connected to the Master?
Yeah, I know they were connected to the Master, but I was going to bring it up later when we got to that episode.
Yeah, that's fine then.
But it doesn't matter. What other stuff was connected to the Master in the Lazarus experiment then?
Well, it's not just in this episode, all across the series. Like you had in the background, there was vote for Saxon. Like,
oh, I didn't see that. I did not see that.
I'll send you a picture quickly while we're talking about it. I don't know what episode it was in, but I'll show you. Let's have a look. Don't know what episode it's in. I think it might be the end of Smith and Jones. This was shown.
Oh, cool. I'll just check that out then.
But if you look,
oh yeah, right in the background, yeah.
Yeah, it's a call to the end of the series.
That's really cool.
But yeah, we got 42 next, haven't we?
Yeah, I really enjoyed 42. I absolutely thought... Oh yeah, as I say, Lazarus Experiment, slap bang average. 42 I thought was absolutely amazing. Well, not amazing, but I thought it was really, really, really good. A lot of people don't like it. You said a lot of people don't like the sets. But I loved how he was like, burn with me, and it's quite scary. It's like, well, not too scary, but it's like, it's intimidating. You think, bloody hell, you feel kind of bad for them. And then they get killed and they become one of those burn with me creatures, or they just get killed, I guess. Yeah. How do they die, actually, if they don't become one of them sun creatures? Do they just get burnt?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
It is just basically that.
Yeah. You know what else was good about this episode? I know it's sort of the same as the Lazarus Experiment, but with the what's it called?
The Sun Possessed.
No, the people on the other end of the phone with Martha's mum, they were like, "Oh, please come home," you know.
Oh yeah, the family.
Yeah, that was quite cool. I don't like Martha's family that much. Her sister's cool, but the rest of them, her brother's okay and her dad's okay, but the mum's so horrible.
Yeah.
She's just really not nice. I know she sort of is okay in the end, but like she just gets on my nerves.
Yeah, I think she is the most annoying mom character from the series. I do like Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie's amazing.
Yeah, I always love how she went and slapped the Ninth Doctor.
Yeah.
And then in the end, ends all kissing David.
Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, what else about this episode? It just kept you on the edge of your seat. Really action-filled.
What did you think of it possessing the 10th Doctor?
Yeah, that was really cool because he's like quick, and he's like speaking out of the sun. He's getting angry, but then Martha saves him in the end, which is quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall.
About if
Yeah. Overall, in my opinion, great episode.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Really
I need to
enjoy
rewatch it.
Might be the best of the series. I don't know. I did love the. I did like the first one, but the villain was a bit naff, and it didn't keep you second guessing. Not the first one. The Smith and Jones and Gridlock. I did like both of them quite a bit, but again, it didn't keep you on the edge of your seat as much.
Yeah. So next one, Human Nature and Family of Blood.
Yeah, fantastic, absolutely amazing. I know you're not that bothered about it, are you, George? You said it's
I'm not, no.
But I personally thought it was absolutely fantastic. I like the people who played the Family of Blood. I like how there was like a mom, a dad, a son, and a a daughter, a little daughter. Like, obviously, she was quite scary because you associate kids with being quite chilled out and not that bad, not like not usually being able to kill people, but she goes about killing people willy-nilly. She doesn't really care. So that's pretty cool. They all did a good job, especially the son. He did a great job at being the acting as that alien.
He always creeped me out.
Yeah, I think he did really well there. I love the Doctor as John Smith. I love how it's like, why is he not remembering who anyone is?
Yeah.
I love Martha. As I say, Martha's just such a legend. I really loved her in it, man. She was phenomenal. I liked how she was like, they said some offensive stuff that was of that time, and she just sort of shrugged it off. She was like, oh, okay. She didn't really care. And I like how she didn't care, and she was the bigger, better person. She wasn't getting upset over stupid, petty idiots, which I really like.
Yeah, well, one thing I don't like about the episode, how when the Doctor was falling in love with the woman.
Well, with this,
and she goes, that he's meant to fall in love with her.
I thought it was great, personally. I mean, this is a different person. You've got to remember, this is a person. This is like the Doctor as a human. He's only got one heart now. He's going to feel like a regular human, does he? He's not going to be this alien. He feels like everyone else, So I thought it was great, personally.
Yeah, I do get what you mean. I just don't. I'm just not the biggest fan of the Doctor being in love.
I mean, a lot of hardcore Who fans aren't really, because it's like the Doctor's meant to be going about learning stuff and becoming smarter. He's not meant, and his companion's just meant to be his mate. They're not meant to get together. I do understand that, but this is a new audience, man. This is new Doctor Who. You don't get successful by doing the same stuff. You get successful by trying to do new things and take risks.
Yeah, not when you get to the latest series, which you'll see. I don't want to spoil it there.
Yeah.
So I won't go into it.
I liked how the Doctor gave them their wish when he came back as well. He was like, he let the one live forever in a weird spinning galaxy. He let the other one live forever as a scarecrow. What did he do to the one? Didn't he just bury him in a hole or something?
No. What he did is he was hiding because he didn't want to hurt her or things like that. So what he did is he put the father in unbreakable chains.
That's it, yeah.
Put the mother into a black hole. Put the daughter into every single mirror.
Yeah.
And I do love that line. If you look in your mirror and concentrate hard enough, you'll be able to see her staring at you from the back. And then the son was a scarecrow.
Yeah. How did the Family of Blood kill those 4 people then?
It just took them over, basically.
What happens to their former selves? Do they just die then? Are they dead?
I'm guessing so, yeah. It's not 100% explained, I don't think, but it is basically like we've just said.
Oh, okay.
They take them over and it kills it kills the person inside.
Man, the Family of Blood are just evil, aren't they? I'm glad that they just get tortured forever. They deserve it.
Yeah, well, the one did to live forever, and they got
They got their wish, didn't they? They got their wish. I love the bit when the Doctor's like, what, I'm travelling alone. I'm travelling all the time and I live forever. That's a load of rubbish. Why would you put me through that? That's horrible. Alone. That's awful. I love that. I love how he was getting really over-emotional as a human. And you think to yourself, man, the Doctor just travels forever. It's quite depressing, really. He's really alone and out of it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how you see him live a future life as well. And he's on his deathbed and he's pretty satisfied and content with everything, isn't he?
Yeah, and a whole family as well.
Yeah. How did he beat the Family of Blood again? When he came
just
back.
chasing him.
No, I mean, how did he beat him when he came back?
When they pushed him over, he basically hit a lot of buttons, which basically set the ship into like self-destruct mode.
Oh, that's
But it wasn't really self-destruct mode. He made the engines he made the engines blow up basically.
That's pretty awesome.
By putting too much power in, and then that's what made it go boom.
Brilliant.
So, do you want to move on to the next one?
I just want to say a few more things because these are really great episodes in my opinion. Some of the best. Two more things. First one, I liked how the kid had the watch and he could see what happened. Like he's from Game of Thrones and Love Actually and something else. Can't remember. But he sees like what happens when he's in the war, and then he saves him and his mate, and then he's an old man in a wheelchair, and he sees the Doctor and Martha and waves at him. So that was quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I was like that scene.
Yeah, let's get on to the next, and it's cool when he comes back as well. But yeah, I think it's amazing. Some of the best stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like sort of good or average?
I love the ending from when he turns back to the human, but it's not one of my favourites.
Fair enough.
I've got one thing to say for this next one. Do not blink. Whatever you do not blink.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly nonsense. Or whatever he said.
Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey.
Yeah. I mean, isn't this episode given like a 9.8 on IMDb or something? I swear it is.
It's the top ever episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you want to say your opinions on it then first?
I think Blink is a fantastic episode. It is Doctor-like, but it's done perfectly. And Sarah Sparrow is a great character to have.
Yeah, Blink is given 9.8. Crazy.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts on it.
I mean, you sort of think, like, all the other, like, as it's not, even though it's not that Doctor heavy, you do like the other supporting characters. I like how she goes back in time and then her grandson, like the Weeping Angel, touches her Sally Sparrow's friend. She goes back in time, lives the life she always wanted to, and then she gets her grandson to give her the letter right at that moment. And it's like, bro, that is crazy. And you think, what the hell's going on? You think, what the hell's going on? And then Sally Sparrow's scouring, and she's thinking, what the bloody hell is happening? And then she goes to the video store, and she sees the Doctor talking to her and responding to all this stuff. And he's writing it down as a transcript. Isn't it a friend's brother or something?
I think so, yeah.
And they're writing it down. He's writing everything down. The Doctor's saying, and he's like, it's amazing how he's responding to everything. It's all these extras in these DVDs, which is quite cool.
It's cool, yeah.
They were quite practical with everything as well, to be honest. Like, the Weeping Angels was just statues. They weren't CGI or anything. And they were really scary as well. Like...
Yeah, they are. And they're one of the most terrifying villains.
Like, you looking at them and they're just still... Then you look away and they're closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And, I know this changes in later seasons, but you did say how... I said, it's quite cool how they don't kill people, they just take their energy away from them, and all the energy that they would have had in that life and lived in that life, the angels get. But obviously, you say they do kill people in later seasons, which is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's the next.
Are those different angels, or are those the same ones, or?
Well, they're the same creature.
Are they the exact same? Oh, wait, no, those ones got stuck at the end. Yeah, I love how the Doctor outsmarted those specific weeping angels. And that bit was so... Because the light kept going on and off and on and off, and they kept getting closer and closer and closer. Then they got in the TARDIS, and the angels got in the TARDIS. And then... Because they weren't looking at each other, because they were surrounding it. And then, because they couldn't see each other, and then the TARDIS went, the Doctor teleported it, then they were all looking at each other, they all got stuck.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome. Couldn't they have just got a massive mirror and put it in front of
Well, I think they can break that.
Oh, just by looking at it?
Yeah.
But they're looking at themselves, so surely. I don't know. Banter. Anyway, probably the third best episode of all time, in my opinion. Really, really love it, to be honest. Just fantastic. I love how it... even though it's really confusing, the time travel stuff, I love how it revolves back around to, like, the Doctor and Martha, because the Sally Sparrow gives them the transcript. The talking stuff was amazing as well, as I say. It's just a phenomenal, amazing episode. Great episode.
So, do you want to move on? Or have you got a bit more to say about it?
I can't think of anything else, to be honest. Just really, really love the episode. Oh yeah, this cop. The cop was quite a cool bloke. It's cool how she saw him on his deathbed. It was cool how the cop saw Doctor and Martha. You sort of feel comforted when they show up, because you sort of feel bad for him. He's confused and worried, but then they show up, and then you're like, oh, things are fine now because they're there. So
yeah.
Kind of sucks. You see him about to go on an adventure at the end that you don't see when they had, like, bow and arrows and they were chasing after someone. Never mind.
So, the first of a three-parter now.
Yeah.
Utopia.
This was awesome. This was absolutely fantastic. I loved Captain Jack at the start going, Doctor! Doctor! And then he jumps on the TARDIS. Sadly, it was already spoilt for me by a friend of mine saying that Captain Jack couldn't die, but you sort of already see that because Rose brings him back to life with the Bad Wolf stuff, with that substance. So yeah, that was quite awesome, how he can't die and he just keeps getting shot, or he absorbs a load of radiation, or he grabs onto the TARDIS.
If you watch Torchwood, he has some gruesome deaths in that.
Oh, that sucks.
So when you watch that, you'll quite enjoy it.
Are they really... Because it's only 15, it's not an 18, so are they quite bad or not?
Well, let's just say in one scene, it shows a glass bottle sticking out of his chest.
Ooh.
With blood dripping down.
Well, that's not too bad compared to some really violent stuff, but yeah. It sounds a bit bad compared to normal Doctor Who standards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really loved the old scientist who ends up being the Master. That was quite cool.
Yeah, Professor Yana, who's played by Derek Jacobi. He had 5 minutes on screen, but he definitely was the Master.
He was quite good, wasn't he?
He's fantastic in it.
A lot of fun to watch on the screen.
And he has done a lot of audio dramas as well for Doctor Who. Because he was the Time War Master.
Yeah. I like how the Doctor's panicking at first, but I had no idea who he was. I was like, what the hell's going on? Did you guess it was the Master when you first watched it, or...?
No, but if you think, Professor Yana, you are not alone.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it built up around, and that's what the face of Bo is trying to warn the Doctor about. But honestly, that was really good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What did you think of the episode itself, like?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Kept you on the edge of your seat. The weird, different. What were those humans called? The humans with the big fangs, with the big teeth.
The the future kind, I think.
Future kind, they were awesome. It kept you on the edge of your seat. You thought, it just really makes you think to yourself, man, this is the end of the universe. Quite depressing for people living in the end of the universe. Like, this is the end. But I suppose in a way, like, would you rather be at the start or the end? You know, would you rather be like at the start where nothing's happening and you're probably going to die quick, or would you rather be at the end where everything's advanced but you ultimately know that you're going to be around for the end of the universe? So, like, right now, I know that I'm not trying to get too deep and philosophical, but like right now, you know that the world's not going to end. You know that when anyone who's on Earth right now, when they die, the world is most probably ages away from ending. Like, you're essentially nothing bad. I mean, something can happen to the Earth, but nothing bad's going to happen. But you got to think for those people, like, they're getting on this rocket and they're going into space and they got to go to Utopia. And it's like, why are you listening to this geezer? You know, it's clearly not true.
But then you get onto the sound of the drums.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Where you see the Master come back with that fob watch again.
How come he regenerated? Did he get shot? Did the doctor shoot him, or? Oh no, his assistant shot him.
I can't remember, the bug assistant.
Yeah.
Shot him just before he electrocuted him with that wire.
Yeah.
I think that's a brutal scene, that is, when he goes, I am the Master, then shocks with it.
Yeah, that was quite cool.
And then you see him steal the TARDIS.
Yeah, you just feel like, man, he's like 50 steps ahead of everyone.
Yeah, what you think about the end of that episode? How is the Doctor going to get back to Earth and save everyone but Jack had his vortex manipulator?
Yeah.
Which sent them back. And then you have John Zimmer as the best Master. What did you think of him in this episode?
John Sim,
yeah.
Yeah, he was quite cool to begin with. He was like, haha, I'm the Master. Haha, yes, you know. Wingy Media brought up this point, and I don't like mentioning... I used to do... I've made some reviews before on things, and I didn't actually bring up a YouTuber, but this person put in the description, this is a good source of this topic that I'm talking about. And my mate told me, one of my friends said, never, like, try not to mention YouTubers too much, because it takes away from your original point. So...
It doesn't really take anything away. You're just putting credit to the person you heard of.
Well, that is how I see it now, but at the time I sort of thought, like, you know, differently.
Yeah.
But I am just giving credit to Wingy Media, to be fair. And he said how he thought the Master was alright, and he gave a good performance, John Sim did, but it was sort of... Tennant should have... If you're going to go against Tennant, it should be a serious person, because Tennant's also quite, like, you know, eccentric and enthusiastic, and so is John Sim. So he would have preferred some juxtaposition instead of, like, them both being the same, you know. Some.
I think they wanted a young Master versus a young Doctor, just like they had.
Yeah. I personally liked him. I'm just saying the point that he brought up. But I don't know, I personally thought it was a load of fun, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's got to be the best Master.
Yeah, I haven't seen the other Masters.
From New Who.
I haven't seen the other Masters, so I don't know. But yeah, overall, Utopia was great. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. One of the best again. Absolutely love it. Big cliffhanger, so that's cool.
So, sound of the drums. So the Doctor's got back to Earth, and him, Martha, and Jack are fugitives. What did you think of them being fugitives?
It was quite well done, to be honest. It was quite cool how, like, she thought, oh, everyone knows who Saxton is. Come on, Doctor, haven't you ever heard of him? And he's like, no. And I think hadn't Captain Jack heard of him as well?
Yeah.
So it's quite weird how he did that. before they got back, but he'd already done that before this happened. So again, timey-wimey, wibbly, whatever it is.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. So I'll go back to what we were saying. So the Doctor's standing on Earth now, being a fugitive to the Master.
Yeah, like he's public enemy number one, isn't he?
Yeah. So then you get to it, and you see like Martha's family have been captured by the Master and have been put as basically slaves. I know that's a bad thing to say, being the colour of Martha, but that's basically what they were. They were slaves to Johnson's Master.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
What else about this episode? What did you think of him turning the Doctor old?
Yeah, that bit was pretty crazy because the Doctor was about to beat him, wasn't he? He was about to get him with some gun or something, and then the Master was just like 10 steps ahead all the time. I didn't like those flying balls though. I thought they were a bit stupid at first.
The Toxophane.
Yeah.
Well, I found that quite interesting because all those people from Utopia...
No. Oh, sorry,
what?
go on. I was just gonna mention that bit afterwards. It's fine that you mentioned it, but I was about to say, like, I didn't like them, but then as soon as you find out their backstory, how they were all those people from Utopia, like, remember that little kid who saw Martha? He was one of those balls. He was one of those flying balls.
Yeah, he was, but he was the one they captured. Yeah,
so quite sad. Quite a good twist.
Yeah. What do you think of how they defeated the Master? Of how Martha had to go all across the world? Yeah,
I thought... I'm just going to say with the second part quickly, I did like it. I still liked it quite a lot. Not as good as Utopia, but I did like it quite a lot. It was cool how the Master won and turned the Doctor old, and Martha managed to get away, thankfully. The Master's taken over the world by the time Part 3 came around. You find out where those little flying balls, how they came about, as I say, which was cool.
And then Jack got captured as well.
Yeah. And he keeps getting killed.
Yeah.
It's called...
when he made the TARDIS into that kind of bomb thing, did he?
I don't remember that bit.
He turned it all red and put like the cage around it, if you remember.
Nah, sorry, I don't remember that bit.
Oh, well, that was a big part of the story.
Yeah, I just can't remember.
Yeah, well, so he basically made it into like a big rift bomb.
That's pretty cool.
And that's how the Toxophane got through.
Okay.
But yeah, that was quite good. So the Doctor didn't even have the TARDIS by this point.
Mhm.
And did you know as well, the Master's laser screwdriver was made out of bits of the TARDIS?
Oh, no clue, mate. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's quite a cool bit.
Well, I think that's quite a bit of an interesting fact, how it made it like that. And I've got these sonic screwdrivers and the laser screwdriver, and you can definitely see like bits of that TARDIS integrated with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So part 3 then.
Yeah, sure. Oh wait, yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we? Sorry, brain fart. Yeah, part 3's great, apart from the Master got beat in a bit of a fluky way, everyone chanting Doctor, 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 but I suppose the writers have written themselves in such a... They made the Master so overpowered, it would have been really, really hard for them to beat him. I liked that Tom Mulligan geezer, he was quite cool in it, or Tom Milligan, or whatever his name is, because Martha ends up getting with him in the end. It's cool how she travels the world. I love how it's mostly Martha saving the day. That's what I love. And my favourite bit of the episode is at the end of the episode when Martha essentially tells the Doctor to do one. Because she's like, nah, I'm looking after my family now. I'm staying with my family. Forget, it's my choice. She didn't get sucked into a vortex. She didn't get, killed or whatever. She just made her own choice to walk away, and I love that. That's fantastic. Awesome. And she's over the Doctor as well, which is awesome. She's not, she sort of is interested in him at the end, but she's like, nah, forget it, it's whatever. He's got his own life.
Yeah, I think that was a good ending to it.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Now, I don't know if we should talk about this now or for Series 4, but Time Crash.
Oh, the little, do you want to leave it for Series 4?
Yeah, let's just leave it on a cliff hanging then.
Yeah, overall, I will give, we'll just give the Series 3 ratings then. I'd say it's not as good as Series 1, a lot better than Series 2. Martha's absolutely legendary. Tennant, he's playing the Doctor a bit better now than he was in Series 2. He was still good in Series 2, but in Series 3 he was a bit better. Captain Jack's comeback was awesome. The Master being back was awesome. He had some really peak episodes like Blink and Family of Blood, and obviously the three-parter was amazing. But all the other episodes were either good, average, or a bit crap. So it is a bit of a mixed bag. Overall, I am going to give it a great 4 stars out of 5. It's not like a high 4 stars out of 5 like the Series 1, but pretty great. Near high end, high end 4 out of 5.
I'm going to be the same as you. I'm going to go for a 4.
Fair enough, man.
Because I gave Series 2 a 3 or 3.5. Now I gave Series 1 a 4.5. So yeah, it is a series in the middle of them two, I find.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, you gonna wrap this up then?
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. One last thing I'm going to say. If you watched the live stream the other day, we watched the 50th anniversary, and we watched. What did we watch? I keep forgetting. We watched Nightmare in Silver and the Ghost Monument as well. Those should be up on the channel soon as reviews. And then we pulled out The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon, which is the series 6 two-parter. And then Face the Raven, which is the series 9 episode. So I'll be nice doing them when I can, and I will put it out on Twitter, so keep an eye there. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and we will see you for the Series 4 review. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
See ya.